the Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And you're stinky.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and I would like to see Donald Trump box Gerard Butler or Aaron Eckhart.
I'm John Gilardi, and when I fly to D.C., I like to do the thing. That's what I can whip up in 5 seconds. Sorry, guys.
Those are good. So
what are we talking about?
In the summer? Let me do this. In the summer of 2013, there was a movie where a group of terrorists attacked the White House, and only one man would stand up to them. Actually, there was two. There were two movies.
When it rains, it pours with movies. Which there was the Friends with Benefits.
Yeah, and what was the other one?
I don't know.
Just Friends?
Yeah,
Just Friends is the movie with Ryan Reynolds, where he's fat and then he's not fat. And
either way, it's. That's something we can get into. It's a pretty simple reason why these kind of things happen, but we'll get into that later.
And then there's the Mirror Mirror, and then the other Snow White movie.
And then the Bird Box or Bark, whatever the.
Oh, Bird Box and Quiet Place.
Yeah.
But so in 2013, there was White House
Bark
Down.
Box.
Bark Box.
That's the dog subscription box service. Definitely not the name of a movie.
The movie, the horror movie, Bark Box. So today we're going to be talking about White House Down, starring Channing Tatum and a bunch of other people too. Richard Jenkins, Jamie Foxx, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Joey King. And kind of comparing or just talking about the other one, Olympus Has Fallen, starring Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart, and again a bunch of other A- level who we're all just there having
Morgan
a good.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman is in it. Dermot Mulroney is in it. The guy who plays the janitor's dad, David Forster. David Forster? I don't know. I like him. He plays the guy who plays a general, Clegg.
Oh, yeah.
He's in a bunch of stuff as the general.
He's kind of a mobster in a lot of things.
Yeah, he is.
He's like that kind of Italian.
He's because he's kind of, but he's also he's always a mobster who's been out of it, or they're they're going to him
good
for
guy
the first.
Mobster.
Yeah, or they're going to him and be like, it's time we bring in old Paulie, and old Paulie still slaps ass and beats the shit out of people. But it just definitely feels like they're all there. They're all doing a pretty good job. As again, I only saw Olympus Has Fallen. I have seen White House is Down.
White House is Down.
White House is Down.
Yeah, I watched both recently, but I had seen both earlier. And I guess to summarize what they're about, I can summarize both by just summarizing one. It's the same premise again, as you said. But White House Down, it is a bunch of disenfranchised Americans, international terrorists, people just fuck the U.S., fuck this president, and then they kind of go after, and they want to kind of wreak havoc. And it's essentially a really elaborate coup d'etat. So the Speaker of the House, that guy on the screen right there.
Oh, Richard Jenkins?
Yeah, so that he can become the president. And then in Olympus Has Fallen, it's for the North Korean paramilitary dudes trying to kind of reunify Korea.
But they're kind of I don't think that there's ever any. That's one of the things that I'll say about having just watched Olympus Has Fallen. It's very much like a free. You remember those video games in the arcade that was oh, here's the thing, and you press the lever and you reload and hide, and then you shoot, and it's just all right, here you are just in the White House, and then these are terrorists. They're trying to do the thing. There's never any connection that's these guys are a part of the. There's no deeper conspiracy. It feels like even Dermot Mulroney backstabbing him is he's just you sold us out as well to the American people. And he's well, you don't give any examples. You just kind of say that.
I think that's what White House Down does that better. And it's funny, White House Down is much more summer blockbuster. It's actually a really charming movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very Die Hard, which I loved. It's much more Die Hard than
James Woods.
It's much more Die Hard than we have him on screen, so to contextualize what Patrick just said, James
Sorry.
Wood out of nowhere.
James Woods.
We're
That's
doing-
how, sometimes I just say that, like as an affirmation. I just say James Woods.
Yeah, we're doing something that's never been done before. This does not help you guys at all, but we're having both movies playing on two screens, starting at the same time. So it's kind of interesting to see.
We'll see
how it plays off.
We'll see how distracted and chaotic we get.
But White House Down is definitely a lot more charming movie, and I think with that, the kind of enemies and their motivations feels a lot more real. Which you have like the goofy, more goofy blockbuster movie with White House Down, but it felt more grounded and real with its whole premise. And then Olympus Has Fallen takes itself pretty seriously, and I can't tell if it's like self-aware of that or not. I don't think it is. I think White House Down is very self-aware of what it is.
Yeah.
But and Olympus Has Fallen, it's very serious. Like one of the cabinet members is being dragged out, presumably to be executed, and she's saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like this patriotic moment, and there's so much patriotism in Olympus Has Fallen. Like the opening shot with the flag is ripping off the Gods and Generals and Gettysburg. Like that's just very patriotic opening of just the flags. It's interesting.
I can tell, and especially having just watched Olympus Has Fallen, I can tell that White House Down, and especially just seeing them side to side, it's like this movie has like the look of it is just much soft, like both like softer and realistic at the same time.
Yeah.
And this is like very melodramatic, like the way that they've composed these shots too, and they just them having the wide shots when the Richard Jenkins was coming in the opening, and having the wide shot where they follow it and having just like the movement of it, makes it feel. And even the wide shot, you don't see that a whole lot, huh?
You got too many pronouns that people were just listening.
Sorry,
in this and stuff. But
basically,
White House Down is a lot softer, a lot red, more like kind of softer tones, and then.
It looks like a blockbuster.
It's all blue. It's like a lot of blues and darks and very serious. Has like the same like the Call of Duty font and everything, and it's like it has all the time tickers. Like
it almost has like a film grain on it too that makes it look like it's like, oh wow, this is serious. Whereas this has like that polished sheen. White House Down has like a polished sheen.
Yeah. Well, both movies, interesting enough, tie in children. And it's pretty interesting.
Did you say tying in children or Italian children?
To
me, it sounded like you said.
They're tying in Italian children. No, they tie in children to the story. And it's really interesting to see how they both did that and then compare how they did it. And in, I'll speak about White House Down and then we can talk on Olympus Has Fallen together. But in White House Down, Channing Tatum's kind of going into the White House for a job interview to be a Secret Service agent. He gets his daughter a pass because she's a big political DC kind of fanboy.
Good for her.
And so everything goes down and she gets captured and she's used as a bargaining chip throughout the film. And she she has a blog, so she records footage and that's how kind of the identification and information gets out.
So,
but in Olympus Has Fallen,
compare that to an Olympus Has Fallen. Essentially, the kid is just like a MacGuffin. You don't see him, like you know that he's there, you know he's in the thing, but you don't see him. You don't follow his journey because that would have been something interesting. That I think. But again, the movie's pretty long as it is, and I think that making the choice to just follow Mike Banning, which is Gerard Butler's character, is a good choice. But just like compare and contrast is like you don't see the kid. He's a MacGuffin. He's like, Mike Banning's got to go find the kid, and then he finds the kid. He gets the kid out. And that's like essentially
a successful mission too, which is satisfying.
It is satisfying where he gets them and
it's not satisfying like, of course they're not going to kill the kid kind of like plot armor. It's satisfying like not everything has to go wrong. Not everything has to be a snafu.
Because up until that point,
what happens in White House Down, which is fine because it's not as serious. But then it makes it, when you're watching a very serious film, it's nice to see some wins, like the cabinet member almost getting executed and she gets away.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple wins they have in that with her getting away and the son getting away. And
because up until the son getting away, they didn't really have any wins.
Yeah.
Everybody showed up not wearing their bulletproof vests.
Running out into open fire.
I was just like, listen, I'm not a tactical guy. I don't know anything about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem like, especially the dudes who kept coming out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh no.
I think I remember seeing that the first time in 2013. I was like, why do they keep coming?
It's like, well, okay, well, oh no, the first wave of guys gets shot. I guess I'm not gonna go out there.
Yeah.
We'll wait. And they also none of them have any. Anyway, that's like its whole thing.
Well, I'm curious. Like, why isn't it standard procedure in both films to put body armor on the president?
It is, as far as I know. And again, know very little. But one of the first things they do, especially when there's an active shooter, they put body armor. Also, he has special suits whenever that they put on him. I mean, maybe he's not always wearing it, but like, and the same thing. And also, maybe I'm making this up, which is possible because I think one of the things that's great about the Secret Service is like it's kind of secret. So there's like not much that's we know a lot of stuff about it, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that we know about it is because they've already moved on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I want to do a lot of deep dive research on them. I'm curious. From both of these films, I want to watch Air Force One. I want to go watch Red Dawn just for fun.
Yeah.
I miss the political thrillers I guess I consider this political thriller.
These aren't even. No, I don't think these are political thrillers. Have you ever read any of the Tom Clancy books or?
I've read things similar.
Yeah.
I miss even then, like stuff like this, like the Bourne Identity. Like, I wonder if like we didn't see any of that during Trump's presidency because it's just kind of like.
I mean, it's already there.
F that guy. Yeah, and it's like it's already stranger than fiction.
Yeah, it's already, and that's the thing. It's like any of the political intrigue is like absolutely shot to hell because that motherfucker just tweets everything out.
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, well there's no mystery behind anything.
And obviously, you can tell that the timing of this isn't an accident.
It's not.
There's the inauguration is tomorrow when this comes out.
2 days? Oh yeah, you're right.
2 days as of recording it, and then obviously the storming of the Capitol. Which isn't the White House is stormed in this, but if it's relative, it's relatable. I think to something we kind of actually lived through.
Yeah,
it seemed ridiculous in these Hollywood movies, and it kind of happened to a degree. Obviously, I would say what happened in the Capitol was tame compared to all that warfare on the lawn.
Yeah,
but not too far off.
I think
really interesting to watch and just even see the shots of the Capitol.
Yeah.
Which White House Down has a lot more interior Capitol shots. I'm like, holy shit.
It looks like White House Down is a lot more like, hey, here's more of Washington D.C. versus like and Olympus Has Fallen. It's much more like this is the White House.
Yeah.
Like this is like you have like a couple things where he's in the Treasury building or whatever. But for the most part, it's like it all takes place in the White House.
Which is interesting because in White House Down, it's much more DC life, political lifestyle, the people who have these jobs, the people around that. But then the conflict is very confined to the White House.
Yeah.
Where in Olympus Has Fallen, it's a very confined, like, White House people, staff.
But the conflict is global.
But it's global and like it's an open terrorist attack against citizens in every day because they have a C-130 and they're gunning down everyone all over Washington. And it opens up with the C-130 or whatever it is going over Northern Virginia, and the two fighter pilots come over and they're like, "What? Stop! We're gonna shoot you down!" And then they shoot the fighter pilots down. It's the terrorists in the C-130.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, seeing like because of one of the fighter pilots gets shot down and goes right into like a suburban neighborhood in Northern Virginia, and that like, I was like, oh whoa, because like my family lives in Richmond, but then my sister lives in Northern Virginia. I was like, oh my god,
oh my gosh,
it's kind of like
that's the. I mean,
scary.
That was one of the things to me that was. Again, it all just serves as a vehicle, as a way to get him alone in the White House so that he's the John McClane of the situation. But that's one of the things to me is like, are you sure that they wouldn't have like, I feel like if they had unidentified aircraft, like I don't know how close, like I'm sure it would get close.
I know that in DC,
but there's
the Potomac River, I think it is. You have to fly over that, and almost like I think it's almost instantaneous. If you deviate from that, you get shot down.
Yeah.
So like,
they don't fuck around. Like,
so why didn't that happen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, Especially the fact that this movie takes place in 2013 or came out in 2013.
Well, there's no surface to because there's surface to air stuff somewhere in DC, if not on the White House, that should have been ready to go. And in Olympus Has Fallen, all they did was show the sharpshooters on the roof get shot and killed.
Yeah.
But I think they still have turrets, and I don't know.
Well, they missed. They did a flashbang.
Oh yes, they did the flares.
But that was they shot 2 missiles or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was it. It's like that's you guys. No one's up there.
You got to know that every plane worth its salt is going to have flares.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to. You need the. I don't know. Obviously, it's all a movie contriving.
It's all
the situation, but.
It's all part of fun guy cool stuff, like to get Gerard Butler like just swinging his forearms, bashing people, choking them out. But that was the thing to me. I was like, I feel like especially when they're on high alert and they have like this dignitary coming in from a place where there is like conflict.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like, all right, we better watch these radars. And then as soon as that fucking unidentified aircraft shows up, like they're like, hey, we got an unidentified aircraft. Okay, well let's escort it down. And it doesn't escort down. Like it just that to me is like, they only had 30 minutes warning.
Yeah.
They only had 30 minutes warning. Like
I think that's why I think White House Down's whole premise is way more actually plausible.
Which is funny because this is the movie that takes it more seriously.
Yeah.
And then this movie is like
White House Down.
Yeah.
It's Channing Tatum being a goofy, charming, like stud.
There's no other way to say it. There's literally no other way to say it.
But I'm right.
I mean, you're right. There's no other way to say it.
That's Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum is a stud, bro. Like he doesn't look like. I think because he doesn't look like.
He looks too young.
He does look too young.
Which is a funny thing because he's probably closer to 40 in this than not. I
don't like the idea of him having that loose tie trying to get a Secret Service position. Is he trying to get a Secret Service position? If he's doing that, he's gonna be like, you can't be like, hey, I know that you guys like got this hard line, but I'm the goofy Secret Service agent guy. I'm the one who takes things light and loose.
That's what he wants to be. Well, his whole character thing is that he can't finish anything, and he's like, I've changed now. That means nothing. Like, I can prove it.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that I can't finish college has nothing to do with protecting people. So that's like his character arc, is he's proving himself.
Gotcha.
It's like an on-the-job interview. But we've been on the podcast for however long, and that's how long we're into these movies. And in White House Down, they've already established 3 love interests of Channing Tatum with his ex-wife that he shares a child with.
Yeah.
The girl,
that one girl who was talking to him.
that he's getting
Maggie Gyllenhaal?
And then Maggie Gyllenhaal.
All right.
I was like, wait a minute.
But that's all right. That's what I was gonna say. Real quick, I'll jump back for a second. Is that he was, like, he looks like he's like a himbo. Have you ever seen this where they're
Channing Tatum?
Yeah, he's like a himbo where it's like he's dumb, strong, nice.
Yeah, that kind of sticks through. It's pretty much the character from 21 Jump Street too.
Yeah.
Where he's like out of touch. He's like, what's a blog? Or no, he's like, he talks to his daughter and she's like, oh, you got a blog now? And she's like, no one calls it a blog anymore. He's like, oh, I just learned blog.
God damn it.
I just learned the word. Like,
the
character works in this context.
So the thing, so Olympus Has Fallen, very much feels like you were talking about Red Dawn. It feels much more like that, like a throwback to the 80s movies where it's just like this thing happens and the one man does it. And the reason like it kind of falls flat is because it doesn't have a lot of the like charm and panache that Die Hard has. Essentially because both of these movies are like ripping off Die Hard, where it's like, you know, you could go through, it's like Die Hard in the White House, Die Hard in a warehouse, Die Hard on a boat, you know.
I think, and I do think White House Down hits that perfectly. It has so much of the big movie Hollywood blockbuster charm, and White House Down falls short. It's like it's trying to go for
Jason Clarke in White House Down. Look at these fucking people rocking it out.
Well, it's like White House Down feels a lot like a national treasure, like obviously with a lot more killing and high stakes terror. But its tone is so like Americana blockbuster national treasure. which is a lot of fun.
Whereas Olympus Has Fallen feels like it's like it does feel like it's like, hey, this is sort of a message maybe, and also America's just great.
Yeah.
I also just want to speak to the fact of like the sort of like especially in movies like this, like Red Dawn. Did you remember in the Red Dawn remake whenever China was like, hey,
don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and then they put North Korean patches on everything.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's just funny the villains that we sort of give ourselves, because back in the 80s, because it's not the 80s anymore.
You know, the Russians.
It's just the Russians. Everything was just the Russians, and then that's why everybody makes movies about World War II, because it's just like, fuck the Nazis, dude.
Easy bad guys.
It's easy bad guys. And now it's just like, they're the terrorist cell of blah, blah, blah. And they're sort of connected to this, but they kind of have people from everywhere. And it's kind of great because they get to have
In White House Down?
I don't know about White House Down.
Oh, well, aren't the ones in Olympus Has Fallen? They're all Korean.
They're all Korean.
Oh,
I mean, possibly. Again, I don't know any of their actual ethnicities, but it kind of gives them, because they're a terrorist cell, it gives them a little bit freedom with casting, where they could have some dudes who kind of look Vietnamese. They don't have to be as picky with it.
Well,
I don't know enough to be
in
like
White House Down. I think they set that up just as much, if not better, because it's not tied to a nationalism or even regional. It's just people who are pissed off at the U.S. So the Secret Service, so they have a threat matrix. So the Secret Service see people who are a threat, who hate the president, and the deputy of the Secret Service,
James Woods.
Yes, James Woods, the character, he betrays them, and he uses the threat matrix to recruit this team of like president haters.
That's kind of funny.
So it's a pretty cool and funny kind of like, it's believable. And they go into the White House unarmed, and then they secure one gun. And then they get one more gun from killing, and then they just kind of tidal wave and get more and more guns.
Wow.
And then they secure the compound, and then they wheel in the cavalry.
Huh.
So it's a lot more believable. With a grain of salt.
It's also believable because James Woods is kind of off the rails, like MAGA guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. His whole motivation is his son died in an operation, and then Jamie Foxx, the president, White House is down. He wants to pull out of the war, and he's like, "My son died for nothing." And he also has a huge brain tumor, so he's probably going crazy.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of like what's going on with him. But
so I mean, I already talked about the strategy. I wonder. I thought about this. Like, I wonder. Hey, let me ask you this. As we're watching them shoot flares out and then the things, there's nothing. Do those just explode because of the heat? Why do they explode? Why?
I'm guessing they hit the flare source.
Okay.
I don't know much. I don't know if. Obviously,
come on, John.
It's heat seeking, so it's following the heat. But I don't know if it goes through it because it doesn't hit anything, or I don't know how missiles and flares work. But
okay.
Sorry.
No, I just was like, because those are just like heat and light. But I guess I'm just wondering is like, what is there to explode off of it or whatever? Like, why would they trigger an explosion?
Maybe when it reaches the heat source. I'm not sure.
Okay. Listen, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
You're the weapons guy. You're supposed to know this stuff.
I know small arms, not missiles. But
I was wondering if maybe they use the same set, you know?
I wonder, because I mean, there's got to be, like, I don't know, L.A. on all the backlots. You know, you have like small town America backlots. You have New York City streets you can kind of recycle and reuse. There's got to be White House, West Wing, standing sets you can go in and use. I mean, for movies that's big. I mean, rebuilding it for your film I can't imagine it'd be that big of a deal.
Yeah,
especially if these movies are pretty big budget, evidently with. Everything going on.
I mean, yeah, I know. I just think it'd be funny if they're like, "Oh fuck, let's just." I mean, are you guys done with your White House stuff? Yeah, we're done with our White House stuff.
Just filmed them back to back.
We're just doing like, oh yeah, nice. You guys are releasing you guys aren't releasing in 2013, right? No, we are. I'm sure it won't mind. I'm sure nobody will care. Or maybe one, or, and again, I have no idea. I'm just making this up. It'd be funny if like they filmed this one,
Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen. I'm just forgetting the names. There's just so much going on right now.
Yeah.
But so Olympus Has Fallen. They filmed Olympus Has Fallen in like 2007, and they like held on to it and like tabled it. And then like White House Down was just like, I guess, yeah, we'll just use that one. And then they like figured something out or did some reshoots, and then like they both came out.
It's possible.
I'm absolutely making it up just so that they shot it on the same set.
Yeah, that's the fantasy.
That's the only thing that I want.
Well, I guess it could be a good time to touch on the fact of like why so many somewhere movies come out, or even like zombies were a big thing for a long time. And I think what you have is screenwriter optioning or script optioning. I forgot what the phrasing is, but essentially, screenwriters write a lot of screenplays, and they don't write them to be made, or they're not making them to then be made immediately. Like they're writing these things and they're selling them to studios. So studios have like
so many screenplays.
They just have scripts on hand. So like, buddy cop film where it's the cops fall in love. I don't know. that film just hits it off, that story beat, and then all the other studios are like, do we have some buddy cop films?
You got a buddy cop film here?
Where they fall in love or something, and then they'll make them, and then that's just that's why these things happen. So
there's a pretty funny story about have you seen Beverly Hills Cop?
No. Speaking, my buddy cop filmography is pretty
I know,
small.
but it's just funny that you said that because this just relates directly to it. But so there's Beverly Hills Cop starring Eddie Murphy. He's a Detroit cop who gets like put on leave. I don't know. He goes to L.A. for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't remember why. It's a really funny movie though, and it's also just a really good movie. But so when in the development process of that movie, originally the production team wanted. Sorry.
So I distracted Patrick, but in White House Down, it's the scene where the Capitol's bombed. And it's the Capitol Rotunda with the roped off rope.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so weird to see something bad being done there in that it's like the same exact shot too from the high angle.
Yeah.
And I think it's coming up, but it's just so weird because something,
Because
it wasn't bombed.
It mirrors the
Yeah.
real life of stuff. But so in the development process of Beverly Hills Cop, they were like, hey, Sylvester Stallone, you be this guy. And Sylvester Stallone was like, all right, cool, but he's going to be named Cobretti. And they were like, wait, hold on. And he like had a bunch of changes that he was going to do to the script or something like that. And then he so they were like, no, that's okay. Then they made Beverly Hills Cop, and he was like, nice. And then he just made the movie Cobra that was about essentially the same script, and then he doctored it into making it a new movie.
What?
Yeah. Woo!
And I feel like that's like I don't know, it's just funny.
Can you imagine seeing that? Again, as I'm telling this story, we're watching the part in White House Down where they did blow up the Capitol building and then just fire and smoke coming out the top of it.
I mean, kind of happened IRL with the Twin Towers. People saw that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine seeing that either. Because I remember I have seen footage of people watching it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow. I feel like we've already talked about this. Where they're like, oh, wow, what's that? There must be a fire up there. And then they see the plane go in it, and they're like, holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I would be like, I have like, I don't know what it is, but in fever dreams, I like see things that are fucking crazy. And you feel this like enveloping, like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Like you like blood rushes to your face, and you feel like you're being overwhelmed physically.
Yeah.
Even though you're just standing there in open air. I don't know. It's something I have. That's what
Tell
I
us
picture.
more about your dreams, John.
No, but I think that's a real life feeling. I just haven't faced trauma
Yeah.
like that, unfortunately. But that's how I imagine seeing something like that fucking happening.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know if it's an appropriate prank, but like the most likely we were to go to World War III with is Iran. And I did this before even the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like, you only can do it so many times. Like Christian would be in the his recording booth, kind of isolated away. He hadn't been looking at his phone for 2 hours. Open door, like, oh my god, Iran, we're going to war with Iran.
Oh my gosh.
and the fucking straight like face of him, like you could just see him like life is gonna change as I know it. And just like everything changes.
Let me tell you this. Hold on. This is great. Cause all right, so I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And I was fucking around up in the mountains, like, I was way up there. It was nighttime. And the fucking, like, I saw the alien ship up there. And I was like, oh my gosh, aliens. And so Alyssa, or my partner, went to go to sleep. And she was asleep. And I went in there. I was like, oh my gosh, aliens. There's aliens out there.
Jesus.
And it was the most unintentional thing ever. Because we had been talking about the weird shit I had seen in the game. And... And her face was like, okay. And I was like, they're right here. They're right here. And it was just like, she was just like, absolutely like, yeah, okay. This makes, because again,
happening now.
after the year that we've had, it was like, all right, yeah, okay, I guess so. What fucking else? But man, all right, so let's play a fun little like hypothetical game.
All right.
Say and Olympus has fallen. Say you're Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
And they've got the president, you're the speaker of the house, and they're like, "Oh, you better give us what we want or we're going to kill him." It's like, well, what would you do? Cuz I'm trying to think about what the choice was for that.
Well, they got the kid out.
Yeah, they got the kid out.
So like they needed the president to get his code for the launch.
Yeah.
But they cracked it anyways without having to extract that information from
Which
him.
I don't understand how. Like that was the thing that I was like,
why do you even need need to get to the PIOC, the presidential something
operating
emergency operation center, which both movies have the PIOC, and it's kind of cool to see how they represented it.
Yeah.
But they needed to get in there. But why do they need the president alive?
That
or
was
any of them alive? If all they need to do was just break the code with the hacking software. Oh, Jimmy Simpson was in White House Down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did he just die, or did I miss him or something?
No, he comes in with the cavalry later on.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love Jimmy Simpson. What was I going to fucking say? It's also just a very confusing thing what just what their plan was. Like, why did they spread out the codes in Olympus Has Fallen? Why'd they spread out the codes? Why aren't they just like, all right, give us the codes, we have the thing? It's like literally just for dramatic effect.
Yeah, well, I think it's why the concept that so in Olympus Has Fallen, the terrorists, they want these codes. They don't want to launch the nukes.
They just want to blow them up.
They want to blow the nukes up in confined spaces, which will blow up the nukes.
Yeah.
In their silos, which will essentially nuke America, like America would nuke itself. And so the Cerberus codes are meant to self-destruct a missile in case they change their mind about a missile strike.
Yeah.
Which is a big... I guess you have to have everyone in the same room if you're making a decision that big.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why you can give it to the cabinet members to recall it.
Yeah, because
But this is already so convoluted.
If you're going to be launching a nuclear missile, you're probably going to have everybody in the situation room or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Nothing
so
casual.
It's like,
and if someone isn't there,
hey, just blow off one of them nukes over there. Let's just see what happens.
Or you could have Trump on the golf course.
Oh boy.
I think that's one of the main things about him getting impeached is that he won't get anything else from the American people by way of like our tax money for his pension. I think it's $200,000 a year.
$200,000 a year, yeah.
I think he gets like $1 million travel allowance, like all these things. Secret Service detail for the rest of his life.
He still gets that, right? Because he was president.
If he gets impeached, I think it goes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's one of the main things, and I'm all for that because I don't want him to get any of our tax dollars after what he's done. But
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, we've already personally talked about this sort of, but just like how again, both of these movies are invading the White House versus invading the Capitol, but I guess I was like surprised with them actually invading the Capitol.
Yeah.
I wasn't surprised about how
Easy it was?
easy it was, I guess.
Yeah. I will say quickly, that's another thing about White House Down is some of the team is American.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like, and so it was a relatable bad guy.
Well,
where you had international terrorists, was kind of just like bad guys from
Yeah.
over there, from the bad place.
Well, that's one of the things. But that's one of the things that they did good in Die Hard, where they were foreign guys, but they all had personalities. And we talked about this when we talked about Die Hard.
Yeah.
Is like they all had personality.
Yeah.
Whereas like
Yeah, the bad guys, I would say that carries out of White House Down, not to the extent of Die Hard, but it's totally absent in
absolutely, they're absolutely
Olympus Has
just
Fallen. There's two main bad guys, and it's the computer girl who's just a true function. Like she's just not translating. She's just like communicating what's happening on the computer that needs to happen to what she needs. But then there's the big bad, Kang, I think his name is.
Yep.
And he's a bad guy, but he's no Hans Gruber. But like everyone else is just like a red shirt.
Yeah.
True red shirt. They have like masks on. So I don't
which
know.
is already in watching White House Down simultaneous is like it's already just seeing their faces, having them go through stuff, is much more satisfying to me.
Yeah, and they established the relationship. Like one of the guys gets killed, and you think he's just a red shirt, but it motivates the leader. He's like, "What the fuck? That guy saved my life so many times," and he gets pissed. And it's like, I didn't learn much about this guy, but
the fact that you care makes me care.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, cool.
And that's the other thing too is like
there's too many bad guys and like too many red shirts. Wherein in Olympus Has Fallen, where in White House Down, there's like 12 or 15 max.
Yeah,
which is the same deal in Die Hard, you know.
But they're all, and then that's the thing is like they all have faces. They all have purpose there.
Yeah.
So far from what I've seen and from what I remember is that it's a lot more exciting. They all have purpose and they're all doing this stuff. Whereas in Olympus Has Fallen, they're there to get killed by Gerard Butler.
Well, then the Secret Service betrayer dude.
Yeah,
he's not interesting at all. And then he has like a moment of redemption where it's like, which doesn't really pay off in a big way. It's just like, I'm not dead. Like
the only reason it does redemption, like they gave it away so fast. Like especially if there's a traitor, you know, like having him be a traitor immediately.
The funny thing is, we're side by side watching the movies, and Olympus Has Fallen has unceremoniously already gone to its betrayer. Where on White House Down, we still don't know who the betrayer is.
Yeah, we still don't know. We know,
and because of the twist at the end, you don't know about the whole the final betrayal till the closing scenes in the movie.
But again, just like this is about betrayal and like I don't know. It's been a second. I can't speak. But Olympus Has Fallen is literally just like America will persevere. America. Gerard Butler is Scottish, but he's also American.
That's the opening song, actually.
Yeah, that's how. It's the best thing that you can do.
I mean, there's so much symbolism in it too. Like in Olympus Has Fallen, there's a shot where the American flag's
just
thrown off the White House, and it's like, and you have the Washington Monument.
There goes America.
Yeah. Where in White House Down, the Capitol is the dome collapses, but it doesn't, milk it. It doesn't try to.
It's like this is what would happen if it blew up.
Yeah. Well, White House Down is it's a movie. It's isolated to the Die Hard kind of experience of one man doing what he can, and then he partners up with the president, and their relationship's really
That's
fun.
what I remember that of this movie, where it was like, oh shit, that's fucking cool as stuff.
But in Olympus Has Fallen, it's such a romp of like, look what they did to us, America. Like, they're fucking
and look
America
at our perseverance. Look at this one man going hard as shit.
Yeah.
He's so his forearms are so big. Oh boy.
It definitely felt a lot more emotion from White House is Down story.
Yeah.
Because it made me care about the characters and the relationship and it's just so much better.
The only time that I felt like I felt good is when they got that kid out.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, to me, like the two wins are like cool. It's like I like that.
God.
I liked that better. In terms of just the realism, I think that's what it gets the most right. I don't
Also,
know much about
point
Crisis, but
point blank shot to the stomach for President Aaron Eckhart.
yeah, that would be a clean pass through. But you have a
That's
point
like
blank
one of the-
shot. You have such a different dynamic because you have so much force of the muzzle blast. Not only the bullet fucking him up. Yeah, it's just the wound cavity would be. I don't know.
But
I know that the wound cavity would probably be a lot bigger point blank than a farther away pass shot because that would just be a bullet penetrating through the soft tissue. But up close,
Yeah.
you have the skin and everything being blasted
But
open
also-
by the muzzle blast,
And one of the things that
or at least burnt, very burnt.
yeah, and maybe it cauterizes the wound. No, it doesn't. That's not how that works.
That's how if you want to get shot point blank. It's the
Yeah.
best way.
But you get shot in the stomach, and your stomach acid leaks out into the body, and I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah,
Don't get shot in the stomach. Anyway,
I don't want to.
don't. I suggest not doing it.
Fun thing, the MP5 is it gets a lot of screen time as a gun in Die Hard, and it's in both these games.
Both these games.
Yeah, but it is a Secret Service weapon.
Is that the one that he's wielding right now?
No,
Jason Clark.
Jason Clark uses that's a B&T APC-9,
You heard it here first, guys.
which is actually one of the newest guns adopted by the U.S. military.
Oh, look at this.
As of a couple years ago.
As of 2013, when they saw this
No.
movie and were like, "Fuck yeah,
Yeah.
dude!"
No, it was adopted within the last year, which it's pretty cool.
What
It's
was
the first submachine gun we've had since the Thompson submachine gun or the grease gun.
Okay,
It's pretty cool.
What's the grease gun?
It's just it's another World War II submachine gun.
Look at me learning about guns. Here
But
I
it's
go.
just, I don't know, it's pretty cool. Like submachine gun, the U.S. military adopted one.
I just want to double back to Dermot Mulroney. I
Who's
just
that?
chew on that. He's the traitor guy in Olympus Has Fallen, and it's just like he kind of exists just to be a familiar face that is a betrayer, because he's only in that like prologue.
He's not. Yeah.
And he doesn't like say any lines. He's just like, yeah, man, I'm going to retire. And then he's like, oh, man, I'm in the private sector. Life is hard, huh? And then he's the betrayer, and he says his little speech where he's like, you sold America out for $500 million or something like that, which is like never substantiated, and they never talk about.
This is why I didn't vote for you.
This is why I never voted for you.
He's not a good character. Very underutilized.
But he's just like
also his betrayal is like he doesn't is not satisfying. His biggest connection is when Kang is like, who's that? And he's like, oh, I know that guy. It's Banning because I worked with him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't give any insight of like tactics or Secret Service
unless
doctrine.
we're supposed to assume it.
Yeah, like obviously we're assuming that he gave them a lot of information.
But
But why did he have to go on that trip? Like he already did his job then to that point.
He goes, I didn't vote for you because fucking. This is his big speech, and then he fucking does nothing. He smokes cigarettes and looks pouty, and then immediately gives himself away. Whenever he sees Gerard Butler, he says, "Oh, Kang is such a bad, crazy guy."
How do you know
How
his
the fuck
name?
you know his name?
I just love that.
I just learned his name. That was another thing that made me laugh. I was like, Gerard Butler was like, "That's not something Kang would do. He wouldn't do that." And it's like, how the fuck you don't know this?
Yeah, I did that. Like, how does he know his MO?
You don't know this man. Like you
You've
talked to him
twice
once
on the walkie-talkie. Another crazy, not crazy, but how much the vice president looks like Mike Pence in Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah,
It's a super coincidental.
I love that dude's face. There's one dude in Olympus Has Fallen who's like got a lot of lines. I'm not sure what he is. Maybe he's like the Secretary of Defense or something like that.
I know you're talking about.
But his face, his eyebrows are like caterpillars, and he like holds these like
acts with his eyebrows too much.
outrageous like faces, and it kind of can go like it works for this movie. But like you see Angela Bassett and Morgan Freeman and Robert Forster are just kind of like they're like all there stayed doing their like regular actor guy stuff, and this guy's there. He's also there in the shot. This nobody dude with his eyebrows, and he's like, his eyes are all big, and he's like, oh, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he does a bad job either. It's like it kind of works, but it also was just like it's just noticeable.
I think some like people like that make the tone of the movie stick out more.
Yeah.
Because you can have the really good actors with the subdued good performance, and while that guy's performance was good, it was off tonally.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know if it was good. It just like didn't stand out as a bad performance, but it was definitely noticeable as like good as like he's doing something.
Yeah. He's giving what he's got.
He's going hard. He's doing something here. I will say too, fucking Gerard Butler switches so good between cold like brutality and like nurturing like
yeah, I did like his relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
And
then it also felt believable where he's like, hold on, let me snap this dude's neck real quick. All good, you're good. It was false alarm.
Yeah, or even just the simple before he sends the kid up the shaft to go get rescued, he's like, hey man, be brave. Like he's talking to a kid. And as soon as the kid,
you're one of us now. I like that moment where he handed him the thing.
Yeah, and then as soon as the kid can still hear him. He's still there, but you're like, I secured the package. I have the like he just went to like mission mode or whatever, and he transitioned it really well.
Yeah,
it's so stark, like very like fatherly or unclely.
But I think that's
and
one
then
of
he just turns to like the guy doing the mission.
And I think that's kind of one of the things. It's weird, because I feel like that's like his type is like cold, brutal.
Yeah,
you know, like, and I feel like he plays that a lot.
I think he was definitely a very good part of the film. I think his character a little two-dimensional.
Yeah, I mean,
but he did.
It is what it is.
He did it well.
Yeah, he played the Gerard Butler character really well.
Yeah,
you know, it's definitely not. There's no one's. The performance of the year was actually
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler in Olympus Has Fallen.
I mean, I think he could have. I think in terms of screenplay, they could have done a lot more with making him have some kind of quandary.
Yeah,
but he's just a guy doing his mission, and he does it as it comes up, and
yeah,
he succeeds pretty easily with a few things. Where in White House Down, there's constant obstacles. Like they think they're about to, like Jamie Foxx and Channing Tatum, they're about to get the president out.
Yeah, and
then oh shit, the exit is rigged to blow.
Yeah,
or they're just under constant pursuit, and then when that starts to settle, the girl gets they make the connection that the girl is Channing Tatum's daughter, so then they use that kind of hostage thing. Like it's relentless, and
there's a lot more of the villains already in White House Down.
Yeah, I recommend you. I mean, I don't know if
I
have
seen it, but I obviously haven't seen it in a minute.
I liked it a lot. I have Letterboxd, and I ranked these movies a while ago. And I don't remember how I liked them or not. But I guess I'll spoil it now, but I gave White House Down 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
And I gave Olympus Has Fallen 3 stars.
Oh.
And I think that's accurate in terms of how I feel about him. I maybe bump Olympus down to 2.5, honestly.
Yeah.
But I liked White House Down. I actually enjoyed it a lot.
It looks like it's got flavor.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I'd say it's a good movie.
Even
I think it deserved 2 sequels and not the...
That's the thing that's crazy to me. I mean, look, even this shot is so much more interesting than anything that's in Olympus Has Fallen.
Yeah, with that Jimmy Simpson hacking. And he carries such a cool like hacker personality, which he does in the Netflix show, the Kevin Spacey one in DC, House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Yeah.
Is he in that?
Yeah, he's like a hacker dude, and he's like getting exploited by the system and like blackmailed by the
It's been a minute since I've watched any of that.
It's a good show. I mean, Kevin Spacey being a weirdo aside.
Yeah.
A very big weirdo aside. Like, the art he made,
he's still a good actor, but that man needs...
Well, he did another creepy Christmas video. I didn't watch it.
I know, man. Like, I haven't watched it either.
I couldn't. Well, the first one made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, just like, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Kevin Spacey.
Have you seen K-Pax?
I haven't seen K-Pax.
That's actually a fun movie.
I mean, again, he's a good actor. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to get into this, but it's like,
would you do a Kevin Spacey marathon?
oh my gosh, I don't know if that's the play. But oh fuck, now I'm all thrown off thinking about Kevin Spacey and how fucking weird that man is.
Yep.
That's the thing. Johnny Depp did that too, is he posted like a video, not in character, because that's the thing that's the weirdest.
Yeah, it
was in character as Frank Underwood.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, Kevin, what? Are you so disingenuous with yourself that you can't talk to people like as yourself and be
so
like, say this?
bizarre.
You have to do like as a character of a show that you got kicked off of because you were a sexual predator, and then you have to deliver this like meandering message
in a quasi-threatening way.
in a very threatening way.
Yeah.
The first one especially. He's like, "We will come for you."
Yeah, that's so the Georgia drawl.
The Georgia peach.
It's so funny in a way too.
But that's the thing is, this movie, Olympus Is Falling, has 2 sequels.
Yeah.
It has London Has Fallen and Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah. I want to watch them.
I guess I want to watch them too.
I didn't not enjoy it. I enjoyed it as like trashy good fun.
I don't know if I enjoyed it. I think that like...
Have you seen Battlefield Los Angeles?
No.
It also has Aaron Eckhart, but it's like aliens invade L.A.
Yeah.
And, like Marines fight.
That was
on the
pretty
beaches.
recently too, maybe 2011, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, about the same time as this. Aaron Eckhart was pretty big-ish.
He popped.
As like a sporting main actor. He wasn't always like...
Yeah.
Like Batman, this... He was the lead in Battlefield LA.
I don't know if he ever got the chance to break after, because he did Thank You for Smoking, which is a great movie.
I love that movie.
And then he did a bunch of like other indie stuff, and then he kind of like popped in The Dark Knight, and then he did these kind of movies where he did Battlefield LA, and he was like, I'm gonna be an actiony kind of guy, but also play someone who's not really.
Yeah,
an action hero in them.
I liked, speaking of like playing an action hero, like I liked that both Jamie Foxx and Aaron Eckhart, like their egos or their characters weren't like Harrison Ford's in Air Force One. Because like he's like a badass and like fighting and kicking ass. Where in this, the president's relying on their Secret Service agent or Channing Tatum or Gerard Butler to help them through, and like Aaron Eckhart's actually pretty useless.
He is,
as like, which I buy. He's a guy, and then in White House Down, Jamie Foxx is pretty useless too in a good way, but he does pick up a gun and shoot someone. But he's taken aback by it, which I just like that overall, and I think that's a nice and refreshing way, because you could easily have a pretty outrageous thing where the president like.
Especially with both of those 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Like,
with them.
With Aaron Eckhart, which I feel like it's believable that he would like pick up a gun and do some crazy guy stuff. And especially with Jamie Foxx, where it's like hell yeah, let's fucking go. But this, again, it just seems much more character driven. And that's the thing I'll say. Unlike the people who actually stormed the Capitol on January 6th, they seem like they have a plan and something that they want to do.
That doesn't take much. Have
you
seen the videos?
I watched the New Yorker video.
Yeah, there's 2. There's a New Yorker one and there's something else. I'll find it.
The New Yorker one is like, it's just like, they're just marching in. They're marching through there, and they're like, "Where are they?" Well, hold on.
It's like, oh, let's get a beer. Let's come back.
And they're like looking through Nancy Pelosi's paperwork, and then my favorite moment is whenever they're looking through Ted Cruz's stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Here, look, he's objecting to the Arizona votes. He's objecting to the Arizona votes. He's against us. He's been against us the whole time." And it's like, no, guys. And then one of them, it takes them a long time to figure out.
Even that guy was on board, but then he realized.
He's like, wait a second. No, wait, that's what we want. Like, oh yeah. And
he's like, you would want us to do this anyways.
Yeah, he would want us. He would think this is good. Cruz is one of us.
But then the best part is in a continuation of that shot, as if it was like choreographed. Camera pans up and sees Viking dude bellowing. Like, what is this?
And then again, my second favorite bit of that, the New Yorker video, is when when the Viking dude is leading them in a prayer, and he takes off his Viking hat, and then he starts to do the prayer again. And he's like, "Oh shit, I have another hat underneath my Viking hat." He takes that hat off as well. And then there's one motherfucker who's like, he's like feeling the Holy Ghost. You know, he's feeling. He's like, oh, he's crying. He's like, oh yes. They're like, the globalists, get the globalists out.
He looked like my college roommate.
He looked like my college roommate.
Well, my college roommate, like super libertarian, tinfoil hattie. And I was like, wait a minute.
No.
That might, no.
No.
But it's not him,
obviously. He actually doesn't look like my college roommate.
Just want to join in.
But I just was like, he looks like the college roommate. Like where he's just like, yeah, that's my college roommate, is into conspiracy theories, and like, I don't know. He makes really good mac and cheese though.
Yeah.
But the White House Down people seem like they actually have a plan. And then I can't say the same thing for fucking the Olympus Has Fallen for Kang, where it just kind of seems like,
well, he must know about Cerberus because a Secret Service traitor told him that.
Yeah.
But
because fucking Banning doesn't know. How would Secret Service trainer know?
Then how does he? Yeah.
What is having a Secret Service traitor do for that movie at all?
Nothing.
It
gives a moment of helplessness when shit hits the fan. You're like, whoa, what's going on? Who can I trust? They betrayed us.
But
it just adds to that kind of moment, that overall like angst.
I think that in my brain I mixed these two movies up because I thought in that opening like prologue that we had, and we're seeing all these guys that he like trained and he's like a part of and stuff. I thought that there was like Dermot Mulroney was the leader of like a coalition of Secret Service guys that turned against the president.
That'd be interesting.
I thought that's what it was.
See,
which is kind of like which is not White House Down, but is kind of like, you know, I think that's where my brain got them confused, which is why I was super confused when I was rewatching this movie, and Dermot Mulroney did fucking nothing, absolutely nothing.
No.
Like, his only purpose is to have redemption.
Which doesn't actually go that far. So if it wasn't clear earlier, his, like, Gerard Butler messes him up, and he's like, hey, a little bit of redemption. Just let's
play the scene. I'll be Dermot Mulroney.
Right.
And you say, you can...
All right, you can do one last good thing.
Okay.
All right.
Because he's just like, I lost my way.
Yeah.
I lost my way. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, well, now tell Kang on the radio that you got me.
Hey, it's me, Dermot Mulroney. Because I don't have a character name, because I don't deserve one, because I don't do shit.
You moron.
Yeah, I got him. I'm not going to come back, though. I'm going to go for a walk. You're probably not going to see me for the rest of the day. This is me, Dermot Mulroney, signing off from this attack on the White House.
Cool. Says King.
And then you stab me in the head.
Yeah.
How much force? Again, I guess we're talking a lot of ballistic.
Well, one dude gets stabbed in the skull too earlier.
Yeah.
One of the Secret Service. I don't know. I've never stabbed a skull before.
I hope I never have to. But also, skulls are really hard. As a person, I ran my head into a metal bulkhead.
Jeez.
And I got a concussion when I was 10, and my skull didn't break. And skulls are hard. They don't. They
protect the brain.
Yeah.
You ever hear that like meme, like you're actually you're actually a brain and you're piloting a giant
giant mech suit, a giant meat mech suit.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, for some reason I thought that White House Down had Morgan Freeman as well.
No,
because we saw that shot. But
probably my biggest, weirdest issue, and I don't even know it's just. So obviously Jamie Foxx is black president, and in the first 13 minutes there's 3 Lincoln references, and I just feel like
it feels too much.
Yeah, it feels a little too much. I'm like, what's really Lincoln 3 times and no one else? But
yeah,
like I don't know. That's like so ticky tacky. It's just kind of like a weird writing thing. Like, what's your understanding of the presidency and civil rights and the relationship to African Americans in our nation?
Yeah.
But
that's right. The there's at the end when they putting in the final code to deactivate all the nuclear bombs or whatever, and they say
And Olympus has fallen.
Yeah, and Olympus has fallen, and they're repeating the code to Gerard Butler, and they say, Niner, hashtag.
Oh God.
And it's like, and he's like, what? Hashtag? And it's like, is that a joke? What are you doing?
Yeah, it was a really bad joke.
But you were like, it's like, is that a joke?
Because people have been calling it pound forever.
Pound, yeah.
Yeah, this guy would know pound.
He would know pound, and also the
It's
person
not
wouldn't
hashtag.
say hashtag.
Hashtag is not the symbol. A hashtag is that being
Yeah.
used.
As a hashtag.
It
The
denotes a
hashtag is the
hashtag.
action.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
That word has lost all meaning.
Well, people never people use it as an emote to describe the tweet or whatever. Kind of like, my breakfast cereal is stale again. Hashtag just another day in the life or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
something stupid. But hashtags are meant to categorize.
Yeah, to
things.
give extra.
Yes.
Like a hashtag is.
You're like, I like FML. Hashtag FML. I
Hashtag-
want to see what other shitty days people are having.
Yeah.
You click on the hashtag and you see all the FML
It's not a. It's not a. You would say pound or you would say number sign.
Yeah,
I guess is what I would say. Be like number sign.
That was such a bad joke.
Is it because it's just like it's like at the end of the movie. Is it even a joke?
There's no payoff. She's like, ship 3. I think it's one of those weak, one of those weak Big Bang Theory jokes
Yeah. Shift 3.
where it's like, I'm going to go play my Xbox 360.
Yeah.
That's the joke. I think that was the joke in Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, wow. Well, they just should have put a laugh track in there because it wasn't very funny.
Yeah.
Also, shout out for the 3 Greek mythology references
In
Olympus Has Fallen, Olympus, Cerberus, and the Hydra. Look at
uh,
that. Shout out, I guess.
just there to be there, really.
Just for there to be Greek mythology references.
See, that's so Jamie Foxx is about to try and shoot this guy who Channing Tatum's wrestling with. And the president has glasses, and he in the middle of holding the gun, he puts the gun down, puts his glasses up, and it's really dorky, and then he takes the good shot.
Yeah.
I don't know, not a 1-to-1 joke to the hashtag,
No,
but
that's
just that's charming and funny and
Hollywood.
Hollywood
But for a movie that's absolutely devoid of
charm.
Well, it's devoid of it has tough guy humor.
Yeah.
Where it's it's not humor where he's has his last little talk with Kang and he's like, I'm gonna kill you, or I don't know. He says something that's sort of witty.
Yeah.
And it's huh. Yeah. And I guess the reaction that you want is yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of aggro male.
Whereas just the realism of him putting his glasses on, be like, oh shit, that's just nice. I like that. See, that looks like the footage from the Capitol, that grainy footage.
Yeah. I love going through the Capitol footage. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
I hate that it happened. I hate that but
yeah, it's also
you got idiots on display, and then all that stuff just illustrates the IQ level and impressionability of these particular people.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't think they represent Republicans or even your typical Trump average American. I think they're extremists, and I think Biden even called them extremists.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things people forget a lot of the time is how many people live in America.
Yeah.
And the fact, however many people were there, 500,000 or whatever, not even. The amount of people that stormed the Capitol who were that fucking into it enough to storm the Capitol and be yeah, we're doing something. They're not. But
it's the revolution.
Yeah.
Have you seen that girl?
Yeah.
Mason, she gave out her information.
I love the old lady. Have you seen the pictures of the old lady there with her to-go cup, and she's like, "I'm just so happy I'm here." But there's so many people, even of the 70 million people who voted for Trump, I'm sure that
I'd venture at least 35 million of them are
maybe that's too far.
Yeah.
Or even less, you know? Or even more of that contingent. But it's there's a lot of different viewpoints in America, and
I think that's the difficult thing because it's like, how could you vote for someone who's done all these things and has empowered all this stuff, and that's inexcusable.
But I mean, that's like,
but a lot of people are voting, just off of economics or taxes or even I don't know, healthcare if they're misguided. I don't know what they're like. It's a weird slippery slope, and it's interesting when you see on Twitter people be like, I can't believe half of my countrymen are blah blah blah, and like pretty much then characterize them as the caricature of those White House stormers.
Yeah,
when they're not.
They're not.
They're mostly regular people, and disagree with them, and they voted for a guy who's done a lot of shitty things, and
they're gonna have to live with that.
Yeah,
like, and that's the thing is because.
But I don't think we need to stop. We need to stop planting our flags just because someone had voted for Trump.
Yeah,
we can't let that stop us moving forward, especially if Biden follows through with like unifying and fixing that divide.
Join us next week as Patrick and John fix the Middle East.
Yeah, well, let's see how things go.
No,
but,
I mean, it is funny to see it, just how absolutely purposeless they are.
Yeah.
And like the again, just going back to them, like when Viking guy is like writing and stuff in the thing, he's like the one police officer there is like, what are you?
Come on, dude.
And they're like, hey, why aren't you stopping us? What are you doing? You're with us. He's like, no, there's 5 of you. I'm just here to make sure you guys don't escalate stuff. There's 5. There's 1 of me. Like, what am I gonna? I don't want to like kill you. What do you guys want me to do?
And then cut to there's more in the room and they're doing the prayer.
Like, yeah.
It's so strange.
It is. But that's the thing. It's like, it's so strange, and I think that hopefully this will be like.
Hope there's a reform of the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And I want there to be a day where I have a hard time picking between.
We got 2 different interrogations going on.
Picking between 2 good candidates.
Yeah. Because and that's the thing that I understand with a lot of people is like not having a choice, or feeling like your choice, even for me, voting in the Democratic Party, where it's like, I would rather have like Bernie Sanders, or I would like to have more of a choice than be like, well, I better vote for Joe Biden because I can hate Donald Trump and he is just bad for America as far as my personal beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
No, I think it's best for America if the candidates were just two good candidates that wanted America to be a good place for everyone.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, and they just had slightly different, kind of views.
Yeah. Well, I think this again too deep into this, but the social media and all these things have escalated the social side of politics.
Yeah.
When there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what have you been watching?
I've been, honestly, not much. I've been staying up on The Sopranos.
Nice.
I recently, I forgot. I didn't know that His Dark Materials.
On HBO?
On HBO.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I saw them doing promos for, like, catch up on the first season, watch the first season before the second season, and I thought that apparently the second season was going on, so they were like, hey, watch the first season and the second season, but it felt like they were promos for the first season, so I was like, oh, I guess they haven't done the second season yet.
Oh, shit.
But the second season's done. It's out.
What a little surprise for you.
It was.
A little treat.
I know. And now I've got a whole bunch of, this book that I read as a kid, and it's nice to see it done well,
I need to watch that. I don't know what it is at all, and I think I'll just go in blind. I don't have the history of, I guess, reading it as a child.
I don't know if that will make it better or worse.
If it's critically acclaimed,
I think it's pretty good. It's tough. Again, it's tough adapting anything as a book.
Yeah, I've been busy watching shit.
Yeah.
Rewatched Mad Max.
Okay. Fury Road, or
yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was my first time since I saw it in theater. Long overdue. I could have watched that movie back to back at the theater. The next day, the next week, let alone however many years later.
That movie was so good.
5 years later. That's 5 years too overdue for a second viewing. I watched Porco Rosso. Which is a anime Japanese film from like 1992, and it's like a pig who's a fighter pilot in Italy, but everyone else are humans.
Okay.
I don't know. And then I watch Howl's
I feel
Moving.
like I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be pretty iconic. And then Howl's Moving Castle. It's
Okay.
it's another anime. Christian Bale voices in it.
Huh.
Really good. I don't know. Studio Ghibli stuff's just.
I love Princess Mononoke.
Yeah,
I hope I'm saying that right.
I think so.
I feel like I
I
am.
have Princess Mononoke dish towels.
I love.
Like on Disney World.
That was like that's like it's weird because that is something that my mom got while I was sick. Or she got it on Netflix when they were first doing Netflix.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why did you get this?" And I watched it because at the time I was like, Dragon Ball Z, all other anime is lame.
Yeah.
And so then I watched it and I was like, "Oh my shit, this is fucking kind of cool."
Yeah. I mean, I was.
And I was like
anime
sick
adverse for a while, and I've been gone into it since my girlfriend was into it. She's introducing me to it, and I like a lot of it. Like, this is coming from me. Like my stigma was like anime was like Naruto or like really like cringy cliche monologues over fights and 2-hour-long fights. And I think part of it helped was watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, making fun of that, and I was like, cool. It's so other people understand that it's stupid.
I for the life of me, I don't know. I don't know if I were if I were to watch Dragon Ball Z now, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much just because of.
You probably enjoy it. Like I tried watching Pokemon, and I'm like, cool, nostalgic. And now, like 15 minutes in the first episode, I'm like, fuck, this sucks.
But there is. I don't know if it's a YouTube channel.
Crunchyroll?
No. It might be. It's called Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and they essentially like condense the episodes into like 10-minute chunks. They also might be. It might be like sort of dubbed over with like in like a comedy way. I don't know. It's been a minute, but I remember sort of like rewatching through the Frieza stuff with that, and but yeah, I just remember that's one of the things that I remember is like. When I was like really into it, and it was like in 5th grade, it was like, oh shit, he's fighting Frieza. He just turned gold. He just turned gold.
I think that's one of the best things that anime can do is the fan service stuff, especially these long stories. These crazy callbacks and these elaborate storylines.
It's very much like D&D.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, oh shit, there's that thing. Holy crap.
Yeah. It's like the call. Yeah, exactly.
And then, but I just remember. Like, I was like, oh, my gosh, he turned gold. He's going to beat Frieza this next episode. And then he just spent the whole, like, next episode, like, charging up.
Ugh.
And I was like, okay. Well, that was only 30 minutes. So I guess I'll wait till next week. And, like, the next week, it was, again, more of the same. But I don't know. I still liked it. I still watched this stuff.
The patience you have as a kid.
The patience. But it's like, it is only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Whole different.
I think that's one of the things that we're sort of maybe not missing, but like the with like on demand. What is it called? On demand.
Streaming?
Yeah, with streaming and with stuff like there, like where it's like, oh shit, 7 o'clock, Power Rangers in Space comes on. It's like now you can just always watch. Because I remember there
was some fun building around it. I even remember like primetime TV with like American Idol way back before it got overdone. That was fun to like. Being part of that, like the Clay Aiken, the very beginning of it.
Yeah, I can't speak to any of that. I was much more.
The point
Dragon
is
Ball
just
Z.
like building your schedule around like prime time or
well,
just television.
Like there was a couple things. I remember Power Rangers in Space, like the opening episode of it, the first episode of it was going to come on, and I was like, oh shit, yes, 5 o'clock on Thursday, and I had like there was some sort of like parent-teacher conference, or like we drove far away, and it was like, oh man, it's like 5:05, and we're just now driving back. I'm gonna miss and I watched like the last 2 minutes of it.
Oh man,
and it was the most like disappointed.
And then that's it. You know how
because then it's like it's not like I can be like, oh, I'm gonna let boop boop boop.
And I'm sure there's reruns following, but at that point as a child, it's just random.
Yeah,
you feel like you just gotta be lucky.
Like I missed it.
Like you're chasing it. It's pretty fun. But I'm running short on time actually for something. So
yeah.
As the Stinky Popcorns.
As the Stinky Pop. Hit us up on Twitter, the Stinky Podcast. Tell us what we should watch next. And, tell us to stick to talking about anime and not politics and, whatever. We'll just meander how we want to.
It was inevitable on this one. But
we set ourselves up. And as they say in Washington, hey, where are they?
Let's go get a beer.
Where are they? Where's Nancy?